when Mickey Joseph was asked about Malachi Coleman, and it was
Yes,
odd because you can't hear the questions on TV, but that well. But Mickey Joseph was in the middle of still answering, and I was very intent on what he was talking about because it was an interesting conversation he was having with a reporter that he was in the middle, and then somebody cut in from the back and asked about Malachi Coleman, and my first thought was I was just wanting to hear him finish the answer to the other guy, and then it hit me about 30 seconds later. I thought, he's talking about a recruit.
You can't. Okay, first off, the question was asked by a kid that just graduated, I think a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. And I'm not sure what outlet he's working for. It's some kind of a local thing or state type thing. I'm not quite sure, but he is an annoying kid. Just to get that off my chest in the first place. 2 weeks ago, he asked the same question that somebody else had just asked, like 2 questions before.
Yeah.
And so when he asked that question, I was not at my camera. I was at my computer, capturing stuff and everything and eating my lunch a little bit. And as soon as he asked that question, I just blurted out. I go, "You can't ask that." And Greg Sharp, the voice of the Huskers, was standing right there. And he's like, "God, what's he doing?" And I'm like, "Idiot," and I dropped a Jesus bleep there, and people turned around and looked at me. I mean, yeah, I'm just like, what are you trying to do? Get him fired? And Mickey actually, he said more than he should. He should have clammed up and not said anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a very dicey situation this morning. But and you know what? I mean, the entire media knows who that kid is that asked the question. So it's not a good way to try to get in the business.
Well, it's my guess, and this is all just a guess, that of course Mickey Joseph knows the rules. I think he probably just forgot in the moment.
Yeah.
I do things all the time where I know better, but I forget in the very moment that I think 30 seconds later, I shouldn't have said that or shouldn't have done that or whatever it is. I just forget.
Yeah.
So we had the same situation right there. So
yeah,
I don't know what's going to become of that.
It's very awkward. I mean, everybody, as soon as the words Malachi Coleman came out of his mouth, everybody was just, what are you doing? You can't put your head coach in that spot.
Yeah, I think he asked about Malachi Coleman, and then he kind of let it down, kind of just how, in general, are you thinking about recruiting? And that's when Mickey Joseph took off in talking about, this is how I'm approaching the job, which, of course, you can ask about recruiting in generalities.
But he did elaborate on, I mean, he did say that, 6 months ago he wasn't coming here, and he just said too much. He shouldn't have said a word.